A Chrisley Knows was just dropped on fans. As it turns out, Lindsie did not report her father Todd to the Georgia Department of Revenue. Turns out, it was one of her siblings that actually tipped off the Georgia DOR. Where did this Chrisley bombshell come from? And if it wasn't Lindsie, which one of Todd's children reported him and his wife Julie Chrisley to the Georgia DOR? Things just got juicy in the Chrisley Knows best world. As those who have been following the news know, Todd Chrisley has openly accused his estranged daughter Lindsie of reporting him to the Georgia DOR. Lindsie, however, insisted she did not report her father to the Department of Revenue. He, however, continued to publicly drag her for reporting him and Julie Chrisley. Taking Todd Chrisley's side, many fans have dragged Lindsie with nothing kind to say about her. Unfortunately, it sounds like Lindsie Chrisley's name has been dragged through the mud for nothing. Turns out, it wasn't even Lindsie who reported her father to the Georgia Department of Revenue. Turns out, it was actually one of her siblings that blew the whistle. Which one of Todd Chrisley's children reported him? According to Katie Joy of Without a Crystal Ball, it was actually Kyle Chrisley who blew the whistle on his father. Katie continued to explain. The government also alleges that Kyle tipped them off about offshore bank accounts and potential money laundering. They also allege that Kyle and his ex-wife notified the DOR about the warehouse, which contained 7 houses worth of furniture. As we previously mentioned, Todd Chrisley dragged his estranged daughter Lindsie for reporting him to the DOR. It, however, has now been confirmed that, as she said from the beginning, it wasn't her. She didn't do it. Katie continued to reveal, Todd has publicly falsely accused his daughter Lindsie of being the whistleblower and working with the feds. He has routinely accused her of being romantically involved with an investigator in Georgia. Katie Joy concluded her big reveal by reminding fans that Lindsie continued to insist she had absolutely nothing to do with the case against her father. Unsurprisingly, Chrisley Knows best fans are having a hard time processing this information. They love Todd and Julie Chrisley. Most joined Todd in dragging Lindsie for something that, as it turns out, she didn't even do. Now, some fans continued this line of thinking in the comments of this Instagram post. One fan noted it was Lindsie that told Kyle and his ex-wife to report Todd. That, however, just wasn't the case. One fan questioned if this was the same brother that blackmailed Lindsie with an adult film she made with someone who wasn't her husband. Another fan, however, noted it was Chase who actually did that. And Todd was reportedly involved in it too. Has Todd Chrisley been wrong about which child reported him to the Georgia Department of Revenue this entire time? Will he make a statement about it? Will he apologize to Lindsie? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. And keep coming back for the latest on the Chrisleys. The Chrisley family has weathered storms that could shatter almost any household. Yet their world continues to be jolted by new revelations. For years, fans believed they understood the origins of the family's unraveling, especially the rumor that Lindsie Chrisley, Todd's estranged daughter, had been the one who reported her father, ultimately contributing to the explosive financial crimes case that sent Todd and Julie to prison. But now, a striking new twist has emerged, cracking open a narrative long accepted as truth. According to insiders close to the situation, Lindsie wasn't the sibling who initially set the legal wheels in motion. Instead, the source of the allegation came from inside the core of the family, someone viewers would least expect. This revelation transforms the family's already complicated story into something far deeper, more layered, and far more haunting. A decade of suspicion for years, social media threads, fan discussions, and online speculation painted Lindsie Chrisley as the sibling who delivered the first domino push that toppled the empire. The tension between her and Todd had been public, drawn out, and emotional. Their strained relationship, marked by prolonged absences, conflicting interviews, and unresolved wounds, became the lens through which viewers interpreted everything. So naturally, when the Chrisley empire crumbled under charges of bank fraud, tax evasion, and financial deception, the internet latched onto the easiest suspect. But the truth, as it turns out, wasn't quite so simple. A new version of events emerges. The new revelation didn't land with the softness of a rumor. It landed with weight, detail, and unsettling clarity. According to sources familiar with the investigation's earliest days, the information that sparked the initial legal scrutiny didn't come from Lindsie at all. She was, in fact, nowhere near the government's radar at the time. The earliest evidence, whispers suggest, came from a sibling who had maintained a close, trusted presence in Todd and Julie's everyday life. A sibling whose loyalty had never been questioned publicly. A sibling who had witnessed the inner workings of the family's financial dealings long before investigators came knocking. This twist flips everything upside down. Suddenly, moments that once seemed straightforward, family fractures, alliances, public silence, echo with different meanings. This wasn't a matter of an estranged daughter seeking revenge. It was something rooted deeply within the family's inner circle, shaped by pressures and conflicts viewers never saw. Inside the family's private divinity, the Chrisley family operated with an intricate blend of humor, intensity, and tightly guarded affection. Their on-screen dynamic showcased a blend of discipline and love, with Todd often at the center, guiding, correcting, and pushing his family toward perfection, or at least the appearance of it. But behind the scenes, emotions brewed differently. Expectations were high. Loyalty was expected, almost demanded, and the weight of carrying the family name, especially during years of rising fame, often fell unevenly across the siblings. Growing fame brought opportunities, but it also brought scrutiny. Decisions that once felt simple became tangled, and actions that once seemed harmless took on different stakes. The sibling who ultimately delivered the information didn't do so out of malice, insiders say. The motivation was layered: exhaustion, desire for truth, fear of consequences, and a growing inability to continue living under the tension that had been tightening inside the household for years. Why Lindsie was blamed in hindsight. It becomes clear why Lindsie became the unofficial scapegoat. She had left the show long before the family's legal troubles reached their peak. She had spoken openly about her strained relationship with Todd, conflicts that touched on control, boundaries, and personal autonomy. Fans saw visible cracks in the family foundation and assumed they could trace the fault lines. When she refused to rejoin the series or reconcile publicly, the narrative only strengthened. Some viewers believed she distanced herself because she was guilty. Others believed she was protecting herself from an unhealthy cycle. The truth now paints a more nuanced picture. Lindsie wasn't guilty. She wasn't even involved. She was, in many ways, the easiest target. The emotional fallout with this bombshell revelation, the emotional domino effect could stretch far beyond the initial accusation for Lindsie. The years-long blame had weight. Isolation, online harassment, family fracture, and emotional burden. The assumption that she had torn her own family apart clung to her reputation, shaping public opinion in ways that were often cruel and unfair. Her attempts to move on, to build her own life, raise her son, step into independence, still carried the whisper of a narrative she never wrote. Now, the truth begins to untangle those threads, finally shifting the weight off her shoulders. But where does that weight now fall? A family forced into reflection. The sibling who supplied the initial information sits in a complex emotional landscape. On one side, the decision may have come from a desire to stop cycles of behavior that had gone unchecked. On another, it may have stemmed from fear of being complicit, fear of the consequences of silence, fear of enabling something that had already spiraled beyond control. If this revelation doesn't guarantee healing, Todd and Julie have long believed that betrayal came from one direction, but now they face the shock of discovering it may have come from much closer. That realization may cut deeper than anything previously speculated by the public. The ripple effect on the remaining siblings, the Chrisley siblings, have always navigated life with the dual pressures of public image and private expectation. This revelation, if true, could reshape their connections for years.